What is going on, guys? HappiDaze here. In today's video, we are going over the Pirate Rumble Championship. We're going to go over how you get into it, what's the Pirate Rumble structure, what are the rewards that you get into it, and then some strategies that you can use to end up helping you get Pirate Rumble Championship status and even get a high ranking in there. So the last block just ended yesterday, so that means that the new championship block started today. So if we go ahead and go into Pirate Rumble, you see we are in the championship. And just before we actually get into the video itself, just a quick note that in order to get into the championship, you basically have to secure a 5K rank in either block A, B, or C before you get to the championship. If you don't achieve that, you'll get put into what they call Exhibition, which is a copy of Championship, but there's much less rewards that you can get there. So, for example, in Exhibition, you can only get 600K, max bounty. You can only get so many tickets for the extra island, and that number is multiplied greatly in the championship, which is why you want to try to rank in that top 5K in either A, B, or C, so that way you can go ahead and get into that championship. You only have to do it for one of those blocks. As soon as you're in on one, you don't have to worry about getting top 5K on the others if you don't want to. Even though I would recommend doing that because you do get a lot of good Rumble ticket rewards that you can use to help upgrade your extra island, which helps get you things like extra CC for Pirate Rumble, gems, stamina refills, limit break materials. So there's a lot of good things that you can get from there. So we're going to just go ahead and start taking on a couple of matches and just kind of see how that goes from there. I do try to avoid teams that have Nami and Karina when I start, just because it's much easier to be able to secure those wins without Nami and Karina teams out there, reducing that special reverse and cooldown that is out there. So let's get into why you actually want to do the championship. So one, as I mentioned, with each season, they basically introduce a older legend who receives a level limit break. And some people might already have these, close to being level limit break, but if they don't, this is their opportunity to make copies of those units, which will allow you to get those level limit break captains, which are much better in terms of the specials and what they can do and their abilities than their base forms, right? And that's kind of your incentive to go ahead and play this mode and do that, is if you can get up to 100 wins, usually you get, 3 or 4 copies of the said legend that they're featuring on that banner and just help level limit break those units that are out there. Second is that you do get an amount of bounty depending on what your final ranking is in the championship. So you can get anywhere on the championship level, you can get anywhere from 600K to all the way up to 2.5 million bounty if you place number 1. So there's not a lot of places where you can get bounty, so it's just a really good area where you can go ahead and go to get the bounty. And just one thing to note while we're kind of going through these matches, as you see, once you get your first win, you just shoot up in the rankings. So I went from 40,000 all the way to top 150 or 205, whatever that was, just in that short time frame. So we're just going to go ahead and grab another match, and then we'll kind of keep going here. This is the team that you've probably seen Stump or those guys talk about with the Slasher quick team. So we'll go ahead and just take them on because we can. So yeah, let's go into some of the bounty reasons that we were talking about. So like I said, you can get a lot of bounty from this mode where you can't get it in a lot of the other modes. So it's a good way to get a consistent source of bounty that might be, in that million range each season that the Pirate Rumble runs. And then lastly, as I kind of mentioned before already, you get Rumble tickets. So depending on your ranking, and if you rank in like the top 2K, for example, in Championship, you can get somewhere between 4,500 to 6,000 tickets, just depending on where you end up falling. And where that's important is because on the extra island itself, once you start getting your individual items inside that island up to level like 25, 26, 27, it could take 30K tickets to level up to the next level, right? So usually if you're getting, 5 or 6K per Pirate Rumble season, then it might take you 5 or 6 seasons to get there. So you want to be able to maximize those Rumble tickets in order to be able to kind of upgrade all your stations in the extra island that's there. So now we kind of talk about why you do it. Let's talk about what some of the rewards are, and then we'll kind of go into what the strategies are. So depending on what you play, you obviously, the higher your rank, the more rewards you get. You do get the limit break copies, which I mentioned. As part of that 100 wins, you will also end up getting, 100 matches and 50 wins, you will end up getting a bunch of gems that are out there, and you'll be able to use those at things like the shop or the upgrade island to just purchase additional things that will just help you with your account that's out there. You do have to get at least in the top 1K in Championship one time if you want to be able to fully upgrade your islands to their max level. You are gated by your grade that you get in here in terms of what you need to at least get once to upgrade your extra islands. So you want to make sure if this is your first time playing, if you're a new player, that you're going ahead and getting that top 1K in Championship one time. So with that being said, we'll go into some of the strategies that we can use and some of the strategies that I use myself in order to make sure that I can kind of help win some of these championships, or at least get high rank. I shoot personally myself for top 1 to 2K. I think that's a sweet spot if you've hit the 1K. And I think that just makes everything a lot easier and a lot better. So let's go ahead and talk about some strategies out of there. So the first strategy is that you want to spend gems if you're planning on ranking on day 1. And the reason that you want to do that is because the higher your rank is, the more points you get. So if you're facing the same opponent, but let's say you're rank 1,000, you might be getting 4 or 5 more points than someone who might be in the 2,000 or 3,000 range that's out there. So it's really important that you go out and you make sure that you are basically, spending your gems wisely on that first day so you can get the highest rank. Because the gem, I'll call it value, degrades as you go further and further down the path. So if you spend 5 gems on day 4 or 5 of the event, then it's not worth nearly as much than if you spent the 5 gems on the very first day of the event. So when I go into these, if I'm trying to rank in that 1 to 2,000 range, I'll go ahead and use probably like 3 or 4 gems on the first day just to keep myself in that range. And then once you do that, usually you can just do daily matches and maybe 1 or 2 gems a day and keep in that top 1 to 2K that's there. You also want to make sure that when you're doing these units, and I'm glad that I was able to actually beat that quick team with my Dex team. I was actually a little scared there for a moment. It looked like I might not have been able to actually beat them, but luckily I was able to pull that victory out. So that team, just watch out for them if you're facing that quick team, but it's good to know that I was at least able to go ahead and take out that team with my Dex team. Going into, like I was saying, you have unlimited retries. So in this case, I was just testing out how Dex versus Quick worked. But when you're choosing which teams to face, you want to make sure that you're choosing teams that you know are going to end up winning. And the reason for that is that as you win, you build a win multiplier up to 4 or 5 wins that are there, which could give you up to plus 4 points a match. So if you're going and you suddenly lose that multiplier, then automatically you're losing that 4 points a match, which is really critical for helping you level up and stay above. And then to get to that, you'd have to always spend 2 gems to be able to get those 4 wins again to get you back to where you were. So every time that you lose and you have to restart that counter, if you want to get back to where you were, you basically have to spend 2 gems to do that. So that's why you want to make sure that when you're facing these teams, use that refresh button as many times as you need so you can find a team that you're sure that you'll be able to beat. You don't have to face the first team you see, and it will just make your life a million times easier if you just keep using unlimited refreshes to get a team that you know you're advantage against with, depending what team you're using. If you're using like a strength team, find a Dex team. If you're using facing a quick team, use a Dex team. Just make sure that whatever match you're facing, you're confident that you're going to be able to use a type advantage to make sure you win that match. Because like I said, you don't want to spend 2 gems just to get back to kind of where you were before that. The reset for the daily tries ends up going at 7 a.m. EST where I am, so it's really critical that you're going in, and as soon as that reset happens, you're going. Because what that will do is it will allow you to be able to rank higher, because people haven't come in yet, so your rank stays close to where it is. If you wait closer to the end of the day, your rank will obviously go down as people are playing through the day and their ranks are going down. So you want to make sure that as soon as that 7 a.m. EST reset happens, or whenever the reset is at your time zone, that you're on there and you're doing those matches. It will just make it a lot easier. You won't have to use as many gems if you want to stay higher level. And then lastly, the last strategy that I have here is that if you're shooting to go into the championship, and you should if you can, absolutely, you want to make sure that you're go ahead and trying to get into that championship on Block A. A lot of people don't play as strongly on Block A because they figure, they have 3 days to go ahead and do it. So they're not as concerned about making sure that they get into that championship or get that top 5K in the first round is what I found, at least. Towards the end, people are kind of like, oh, this is my last chance to get to that top 5K if I want to make it to the championship. So a lot of times those people will spend a lot more gems. It'll just be a lot harder to do that. If you start right when Block A starts and go right when a reset happens at 10 p.m. EST at night for the first day, and then do the 7 a.m. daily resets, you'll be able to get into the top 5K without using any gems at all. So that's a quick overview of kind of the Pirate level, Pirate Rumble Championship there, why you want to do it. It's definitely beneficial, mostly for the Rumble tickets, so you can upgrade those islands, especially the Gem Islands and the CC Islands. It just helps out so much. So that was our third match today. So as you can see, we're out of stamina, but we'll probably keep going. Like I said, I'll probably use somewhere between 3 and 5 gems on that first day or the first night that reset happens, just so I can kind of keep myself in that top 1 to 2K. And if you could say that top 1 to 2K, assuming that you've already hit top 1K once, you'll be able to basically collect, somewhere between 5 and 6,000 Rumble tickets a season, which means every 5 seasons you'll be able to upgrade one of your islands once you get them up to that level, 25, 26 level. Luckily, if you're before those levels, it might only be 1,000 or a couple thousand to upgrade. And even the initial levels are only like a couple hundred. So you can just level up those islands super fast with the amount of tickets that you can get, which is why you want to go into Championship and you want to try to make sure you get in there and not get into the exhibition by not making the top 5K in any of those first 3 blocks. So that's my video today. I'd love to hear how your season is going so far for this guy Shanks over here. Love to hear if he's fully limit breaked for you guys, or if you guys are still going to do the 100 matches and 50 wins to make sure you get all his copies. So let me just know in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful. And just a quick note, we do have the new Q&A series that we're doing. So if you send an email, and I'll link in the description, to happidazeoptc@gmail.com, I'll help answer your questions that you might have on OPTC. And then we'll basically be able to have videos to help others who might have those same questions. So thank you guys. I appreciate you watching the video. And until next time, be kind to each other.